The King is back. Caesar King is up for her first ever rerun banner, and people are asking themselves, is she still worth it? And for that, I have some bad news. Caesar is kinda shit if you hate staying alive.
Ditch your faith and we have you like a dog. Your doom is closed. Breathe in of 1,000 tongues. They call me queen of bastard. They curse my name. They curse my name.
Hello friends, welcome to the channel. My name is Hako. So in this video we're gonna be talking about Caesar, and she's back on a rerun. Let's talk about, is she still worth it? What does she bring to the game? And should you pull for her? What are my recommendations? And I am biased because I'm a big Caesar fan. When I saw her first reveal, I was like, I don't care, I don't care what she does, I don't care how bad she is, I'm getting this character. And if I can sell enough of my livers, I'm also maxing her, which I did. But in this video, I'm gonna leave my bias aside and I'm gonna give you my recommendations for an M0 Caesar. Is she still worth it? And here's how I do this. I give you the short answer, which is yes with the caveat, and then let's discuss the caveat. So, Caesar, she provides a massive shield to the on-field character. This shield comes with an attack buff of 1,000 attack that lasts as long as the shield is active. Very nice. She also debuffs the enemies around her, having them take 25% more damage. And now the kind of general gameplay loop of Caesar is that she's played as a defensive assist support. When you get an attack coming your way, and it's a good time to switch out, you defensive assist into Caesar, you do her defensive assist, you do her assist follow-up, and then you also follow up with an EX special attack. This will renew her shield, and it will also renew her additional ability. So, massive shield coupled together with one of the strongest attack buffs in the game, and a debuffing of the enemies, and also a very potent defensive assist. Now, one of Caesar's weaknesses is that the buff and the shield only applies to the on-field character. Caesar is the absolute king when it comes to staying alive. So she's especially good in the Endless Tower. Or a really hard-hitting boss in Deadly Assault like Pompeii. But when Caesar was released in the 1.2, we had a lot of single carry teams. The strongest team at the time was Ellen on Sokaku, or Yujen, Nicole, and Xing-Yi. Some double DPS ones had started creeping up with Jane and played as a disordered team, but mostly you had one carry, then two characters supplementing that carry. So Caesar only being able to buff the on-field character wasn't that much of a big deal, because that's kind of what we cared about anyway. But since the addition of Caesar, we have had so many teams now where we have more than one character that actually does a lot of the damage. Yufufu being a recent example, since we need so much attack on her and over 50% crit rate, she actually deals a decent amount of damage. A Sami and Trigger team, for example, Trigger does a shit ton of damage. Any sort of disorder team now, with Vivian, with Bernice. There are a lot of teams where having a team-wide buff is very beneficial compared to just buffing the on-field character. And one of the reasons I'm a little bit hesitant at fully recommending Caesar in this current state is that the dev team has been very clear with their direction going forward, and it is that we're gonna be seeing a lot more Yufufu type characters that has a presence even after they're switched out. And generally for those kind of teams, we want a team-wide buff, so also the sub DPS can benefit of some sort of buff. Which is why when Astra came out, she overtook Caesar's position like quite hard as like a very, very good, important, like the go-to like support character for any team. Because she's able to keep 1,200 attack up on the entire team, not just the on-field character. And Astra also having the additional benefit of like working just base kit, not mind the build, like with a very free-to-play accessible engines. In Caesar's case, her engine is, like if you're going for Caesar, I would recommend also going for her engine because any available engine for Caesar isn't really that great. It's the only defense engine with impact, it provides a very potent damage buff, and it also increases damage dealt by your entire team. And Caesar is like the perfect crutch character because even if you're terrible at the game, she will keep your on-field character alive because her shield is that good. Now that is also a double-edged sword because you don't really have to like get good at dodging and stuff if you're playing with Caesar, because you can just tank all of the damage, something that won't work if you're playing a team where Caesar is not a part of it. And she's been outshined by Astra Yao, but most endgame content requires at least one more team, sometimes two more teams, and one of Caesar's biggest strengths is that she works in like all teams. Still to this day, she has the broadest applicable like additional ability criteria in the entire game. And if I were to start over Zenless today, I would be pulling for Caesar, but that's more biased than anything talking, just because I love the character, like story perspective, design perspective, etc. But as a general advice, if one of my friends started playing today and they, with very limited pulls asked me which character to go for of all of the characters like, coming out now, would I recommend them to pull for Caesar? Not with a high recommendation. It's not a bad pull, but she's not a must pull anymore. And with Joshua just around the corner, which is gonna be another like event limited support, like unless you have a want to go for Caesar, because if so, by all means go for Caesar. But if you just care about meta, like just care about powering up your account, any pools you might consider going into Caesar, I would probably advise saving them for Joshua. And like I said, one of the biggest things that happened like for Caesar and from a meta perspective from her release to now is that we have so many more teams that utilize more than one carry, like so many more like sub-carry teams, where slapping a team-wide buffs is oftentimes more beneficial than just having it on one single character. Also, in terms of needing one's engine, Caesar is almost as bad as it gets, because the available other engines are kinda poop or dog shit. So on a scale of 1 to 10, where 1 is an easy skip and 10 is a must pull, where would I put Caesar nowadays? I'd probably put her around, let's go with a 6. Her buffs are still very, very potent and her shield is super comfy. Especially if you have no desire to fully try hard and master the game. She is such a comfortable character to just have if you want to watch a movie or a podcast or whatever on the second monitor while just mindlessly playing. She's the perfect character to just keep you safe. But if you want to pull for Caesar because she's cool as all shit, by all means go ahead. It's what I would be doing if I were to start over. So this video is not made to stop you from pulling on her or the opposite, convincing you to pull for her. Rather just a fair analysis, where does she stand in the meta right now and in a worse position than when she came out. And some characters, especially support characters, they just keep increasing in value the further in we get into the game. Caesar is not one of them. Lighter has arguably gotten better since his release, just because they keep releasing characters that works really well with Lighter, where he's the best in slot for that character, like Hugo. But for Caesar, we haven't really seen that. We've more seen kind of the opposite, and with the direction the devs said that they were taking the game and taking for future teams, I'm afraid that it's a trend that's gonna keep on trending. And personally, I wouldn't mind if they tweaked Caesar a little bit just to make her more competitive with other general buffers, just to accommodate for this meta switch that we've seen. Maybe the off-field characters, they benefit of a twice as strong shield, both in terms of shield strength and in terms of buff. So say 1,000 attack on the on-field carry and then 500 attack for the off-field carry. Just that would go such a long way for Caesar. So yeah, everybody, let me know your thoughts down below. Are you going for Caesar? Are you skipping? And if you feel like it, put your reasoning behind it, because it's easier to make up your own mind if you see other people's thoughts about it. And also remember, Zenless only has one king, and it is Caesar. Into the king. Everybody, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, Hako out.